Coming up on today's episode. Good day to you all, YouTube. Here with you at the bench once more, continuing our continuing project. Is that the way to say that? What you see on the bench in front of you are the two, count that, two, audio box 40-watt sound exploder booster amplifiers. And this one here is the original one I got, and we tested. It works great. And this one here is a new one that just arrived in the mail yesterday. And as such, I could tell right away, this one weighed about 12.3 ounces. This one weighs about 21.3 ounces. So quite a bit of difference there in the weight. And of course, obviously, there's a difference in the size. Now, if you didn't know, and I didn't know because I didn't have it in here to compare it to the other one, it looked just like the other one to me, only the fact it has a chrome bezel here in the front. That was the only real difference I could see. On-off switch is the same. Everything's in the same position. But, I just didn't notice the fact that it's bigger than that. And so, as such, this is what I'm stuck with. And we're going to open it up and show you what's inside of it in just a second. All right, what you can see right away is the other reason for the additional weight is 4 transformers. Now I realize the other one had a little power choke down here, but nothing same size as these. It's very big difference in here. And there's the power choke, by the way. I think that's the power choke right there, along with the filter capacitor. But anyway, these obviously use transformers in different ways than the other one did, because the other one didn't have any transformers. Now I think it's because, and you can see right away, the difference in the design of the amplifier. This one uses transistors. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 transistors per side, and instead of the one chip. Now that it basically is the same design. There's 2 stages. One amplifies the other one, and that's the way that chip does on the other one. It's got dual amplifiers inside of it, and that's the way it works. But I don't really know the significance of the transformers. Unless it's the isolation or something like that. I don't know. But again, is what it is. Now, I'm going to put up a, what do you call it, from what I got here on this. This is, oh, by the way, this is the Amp 500B, as in boy. Hard to see, but that is a B right there. And I've also found this label online. And again, like I say, that's what I'm going to pop up on the screen here, as you can see. But you can see clearly on the labeling, it says gray wire, right and left. And I don't understand that a bit in the world, because unless there's 2 different sets of wires back here, and I don't know how that would work. You're not supposed to ground the speakers. It does say that on the little orange warning label there. I don't know if you can see that or not. But again, this one's completely, I'm going to go out on a limb, because this is a B model. I'm going to say this was the prior design, and the later one uses the amp, or the IC, instead of the discrete components. And I think that's just the way it is. Also, this one uses primarily the circuit board for the switches here. I don't know if you remember, but the other one had the top connections on the switch, in addition to the ones that fit into the circuit board. So, don't know. But anyway, that's the difference there. Now, we're not going to do much at all with this. I just wanted to kind of point out the differences to you that, I told you I did buy one, a $5 one. That's what this is. And for right now, we're going to put it back together and set it aside, because I really don't want to get into this. I want to get the other one done and get that tried out, demoed, or whatever you want to call it, on the bench first, and then we're going to try it in the car. So that's what I'm planning on doing, and to that end, I'll show you what's coming up next. And to that end, I, as you remember or recall, I had this template here that I had printed out from an online thing. It was the Rockford Fosgate, I think is what it's called. Anyway, it's not important. I got this off of there. And I have indeed cut the center section out and the holes out, as you can see, on all 4 sections there. And if you're really paying attention, you'll see some tape on the outside edges of this. And that was for this. And this is the cardboard cutout of the same. I haven't got the speaker holes cut out yet, but I've got to do that. But this will be used 1, 2, 3, 4. This will be used to take out to the Buick and align it up, and then trace out a pattern on the package tray deck there, and start cutting that with the Dremel cutoff wheel, I think. Now, I've thought about using my nibbler on that, but I think that's too heavy of a metal, I believe. I may try it, take it out and try it and see, but again, I think it's just too heavy to do it that way, and so I just kind of wanted to do it this way. Now, obviously, for anybody who didn't know, this is a cracker box. That was probably the only thing I could find that was big enough to, in one piece, to do it. And it's got bends in it, but that's okay. It's not going to hurt our, if we're off just a little bit here or there or whatever, it's not a big deal because, it's we're working with metal, and it's going to be inexact anyway, the way I do it anyway. So that's, like I say, that's what I'm doing next, and or for this time right now. Soon as I get these cut out, what I'm going to do, the next thing I'm going to do is put the Ranger up on the bench and take my wiring and wire that in so we can get our test done here on the bench. And once that gets wired in, then we'll go from there. But like I said, I'm pretty sure everything is going to work well here. I really don't think there's any problem with the way I'm doing it. I hope. If you guys have some information I don't have, and you're saying to yourself, well, that stupid idiot don't know what he's doing. that's true, but I can always use help. I'm never above taking someone's help if it's seems to be needed. So that's the story on that. And like I said, it is one thing I want to do as far as this. Oh yeah, I know what the other thing is. I did get in 2 more of these. Now this is not this one here. This is the one we tested the other day. But I bought 2 more of those, and I've got those in here now. All right, first things first. This is the 5.1 volt diodes, Zener diodes that I got for. This is a GE radio project. You guys may recall that. I needed that to power this little item here. It takes power 5 volts DC right there, you can see. But, I don't know if I'm going to be using this one now or not, because I wanted one with a display for FM, because that's actually going to be tuning FM. And I bought a couple of these. Now, this one doesn't do it either. And I'm not even going to get it out of the package. You've seen so many of these now, it's pathetic. But this would have been an alternative for the one in the Buick. And I still haven't decided which one I'm using, but I'm leaning towards the one we tested. Because number 1, the size, and number 2, I just like the way it's laid out a little bit better. So now the other one is a little fancier. This is I like this one because it has 4 buttons here, and I like that better because all of the other ones, they use the same button to do, you have to press long or short or whatever to get it to do. Now this one's got a mode, a scan, a volume up and down. I like this one here. Now this one would be my choice to use in the GE if it would work, but I believe this is 12 volts input on this one. It takes 12 volts. So that would rule out my little 5.1 Zener diode trick. And in fact, the source voltage for that was only 6 something, I believe. So I'd have to find another source for 12 volts or something of that sort. And we've got a line voltage there to work with. We could come up with it, I'm sure. But again, I don't know. And you guys probably seen my one video where I outlined the other one, the bigger one, that I'd really like to use. And now the disappointing thing about both of these here is these are supposed to be 25 watts per channel. And Bob pointed out, he says, I see no heatsink on there at all. And I don't either. So probably, as usual, Bob is right, and these were just, well, let's see, how can I say this delicately? Mislabeled, misrepresented by the Chinese seller. But like I said, both of these, I think, were from the same seller because they both arrived the same day, and I ordered them the same day. And the tracking was identical for both of them. So, and you can look at this one; it doesn't have any kind of heat sink either. So, you know, I don't see them being 25 watts per channel. So, they weren't that much more. That's another thing. It was kind of a clue. They weren't that much more expensive. In fact, I don't think they were any more expensive than the other ones I bought, $5-6. So, you know, that probably was a clue also. So there you go. There's a look at some of the stuff that I'm working on now. Again, next thing I'm going to be doing is hauling my. In fact, I'm going to do that right now while I'm thinking about it, because I've got it here right at my feet. And what we're going to do, we're going to route our wires in here, and I'm going to mount them in here. I've got my little jumpers I got to get out of here and put them out. What I'm thinking about doing is taking those that are on there off, and then combining it with my wire and putting them both back on at the same time on both ends. So that might work better. I don't know. You know, it is what it is, I guess. But I am going to use the center ground. That one right there, the big one right there in the middle is the ground, so I'm going to use it that way, and I think that's the best way. And then once I get it where I want it, I'll route it through here some way to keep it out of the way so that I can put the case back on it, things like that. And then again, we will come out the back right here and go to the Bluetooth. So that's the plan, Stan. And like I said, I just want to make sure I keep it out of the way of in fact, if I could take it right through here and keep it out of the way and come right out the hole up here, yeah, that would work. That'd work. All right, so there you go. There's the plan, but that's not going to be tonight. I'll probably work on that tomorrow some because it's already 4:30 in the evening, and I've got things I got to do. So we'll catch you on the next segment. All right, we are back once again. What we have in front of us here on the bench is the Ranger. As you can plainly see, I think. This wire here is the audio wire going to the Bluetooth module. It has been connected. I don't know, I'll lift it up here. You can see there's the white wires on this side that have been connected in. That's the white wire coming from the Bluetooth module, going in directly with this here. And if we take it down a little bit, the same thing applies over on this side. It's hard to see, that's the tape head there, but this is the one from the Bluetooth module, the red one. It joins with the red one on the radio side over here and goes back into the board itself there. Now the ground, the shield wire for the Bluetooth connects here, and so that makes everything work as intended, I should say. So, and then we can follow the Bluetooth wire out through here. Comes around this corner here, up through here, and out the back, and the grommet right here. So there you go. That's how that comes out, and that part is finished. Now the next part that's got to be done, and I think I'm going to take a break because this was a little tedious to get this done. So you know, I want to make sure I get everything exactly right. I'm going to put my diagrams up on the screen so I can see, you know, what I'm doing and where I'm connecting to. But I think the main thing is, alright, got continuity up on the meter there. Let me show you that real quick. And that is that. Now the switch is out right at the moment, so our power should be going to that front stud there, this one here. So let's verify that. Make sure, let's see, I got wires going every which way and none of them going the right way, if that makes sense. Alright. Yeah, I think you can see that now. So we're right here on this one here, and this one should be connected to this one, which it is, you can hear. And double check, yeah, that's it. Now if we put this one here and here, we don't have anything. But if we stick the power in, which I just did, now we have it over here. So that is a double pole, double throw switch. The other poles are down below this. You can see only one side of it's used. But that verifies what I wanted to show you guys, and that is the fact that when the radio is off, the power comes up to this stud here, and that's where we'll get our power for our Bluetooth. So, all right, so there you go. That is a look at the switch that we're going to be wiring up next. Again, like I say, I'm going to take just a short break here, and I'll come back and we'll work on that. And basically, I'm going to do basically the same thing. I tell you, sometimes my speech just amazes me how it comes out of my mouth. But anyway, like I said, basically we're going to be doing another wiring job here. Let me bring you back and show you. We're going to do the 4-wire cord that I bought, and we're going to wire a red wire, I believe, to that right here, this terminal here, and run it around here. Again, this is all one cable, so I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. And then I've got to find the place that I can make a break in the amp line. If we look over here, as I think I pointed out this before, I believe the amp line is this one right here. I think it's one or the other here, but I think it's this one. I think the yellow is the radio. I think the brown is the amp. I can't be totally certain of that, but I'm going to be looking at it closer to get an idea. I'll be doing that while I'm off camera probably, and then I'll show you. I want to go ahead and attach this motor wire back up too. I keep forgetting to do that. And while I've got the soldering iron hot, probably be a very good time to do that. So let's see if we can't do that real quick. And there you go. That's that. That will take care of that, and the motor is now working. I think what I'm going to do once I get this in a shape that it's going to be ready to use, I think I'm going to adjust this azimuth for the best with one tape. And I know you can't. This design was meant to be able to adjust this with every tape because it's got the fine tuning on the front, which is basically the azimuth adjustment. But I think what I'm going to try to do is just go ahead and adjust it for one tape and get it the best that it can be for one tape. And I think that's going to be close enough for anything that we mess with. We're not going to be using this for a lot of tape anyway. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Again, that's because we don't have the rest of the we don't have the dial cord to go around here, and we don't have the knob over here on the front. And so, like I said, that's all that's the way that's going to go. So, all right, let me get off here, and I'll get back here, and we'll go on. All right, what we can see here plainly, I hope, and that's what I always my whole goal in making videos is that you guys see what I'm seeing. This wire here, this orange wire, goes down to the tie point on this master tape switch, and it is the common on this double pole, double throw micro switch. So that is the amp wire, the one going to the amp wire. Now here's the other end of the equation right here. Now if we look over here a little bit, let's see if I can get this up and get both things in the shot. I think this green wire here is clip leaded to C406, and if we look at the schematic, C406 is the main filter for the main power, actually. And so that's the line there that we have shown on the diagram that I should put up here on the video. And like I said, here is the end of the other end of that is connected to the meter. So if we touch that right there, you can see that is continuity. So that makes that the place that we want to break our wire. That's why I've cut it. That's our point. If you could look at the diagram again and see, that is the wire coming from the master control or master tape switch, and the other end is the wire that goes to the amp, and that's where we're going to put our switch terminals, wire them to, and that's what I wanted to figure out there. I've got it outlined on the other diagram. If we look at that, so here's our other diagram here showing the wiring of the 4-wire cable. If we look at the green wire, that goes to the main switch side of the amp wire. So if we look at our thing here, that would be this one here. That's the main switch. That's what we're talking about, the main switch. And the white wire will go to the amp side of the amp wire. In other words, the power supply side, and that will be this one here. So this will get the white wire, this will get the green wire. On the other end, the red wire, as seen in the legend there, connects to the empty terminal on the radio switch, and that's this one right here. So I know I point to the wrong thing sometimes, but that's this terminal here. We discussed that already, but like I said, I'm pointing it out. And the ground and the black wire goes to the ground. That's the easy one. It can go to any place that we want to put it on the chassis ground. So that's all we really need to do there for that. That should be a simple matter to do. Now the hardest part is going to be wiring in this orange wire, getting some heat shrink in place for it. Obviously, I think I'll put the heat shrink on the cable itself, make it long enough to where you can get that out. And so that's how that's going to be wired, and that's the next step I've got to do. So let me get to it, and we'll show you what we come up with. Alright, we are back once again, and I do have it all soldered, wired in, whatever you want to call it. There's the red wire going to the power switch, as I outlined. It would, and it goes through there to the cable. And the cable let's just show. The gray wire comes along through here, goes out the back through the grommet right there. There it is right there, back in the back. Anyway, the wire from the switch, the master switch, the orange wire for the amp goes to the green wire as outlined in the wiring diagram. I've got to put that down somewhere out of the way, but it will be put out of the way. The white wire, as you can see here, goes to the other end of the orange wire, which goes actually to the amp power supply in C406. So that's there out of the way. And the only other wire is the black wire, and if you look closely here, it attaches right there. Now if I move you around a little bit, you can actually see it. It attaches right there, and that's a ground lug. It's riveted in. A little hard to see, but there it is. And so that's where it goes. So everything is wired up as it should be. I just have to, I want to put some, maybe a cable tie or something around these wires to keep them tight against the body, so when you put the chassis or the cover on it, it won't mess up anything, and they won't get in the way of anything. This can go down here out of the way, obviously. The next part of this is going to be wiring the other end of the cable and the audio part to the Bluetooth module itself, which is over here hanging out. So like I said, the wire there, the wiring diagram that you see up on the screen now is the key for that as well. And now we're going to save that for next time, because this is getting too long, I know, due to the way I've been doing these. But again, like I say, this is going to wrap this one up. But again, next time we should have, I'll have to cut down this gray cable and the audio cable. I'm going to try to get a good estimate of those to bring them up to the front area where the Bluetooth module will be mounted in the car, and do that. So, but anyway, that's that. All right, I've said enough. I've blabbed enough. Let me get off here. This is kind of a dreary day here in Seymour, but you know, it is still winter, I guess. So we're gonna do the best we can with what we got. So you guys have a great day. Thank you so very much for watching, and we will see ya.